Hello, welcome to Court of the Rings on twitch.tv/LotraStream. I'm your community manager, Cordovan, and I'll be with you for the next hour, hanging out, having some fun. We have got a ton happening in the Lord of the Rings online right now. We opened 2 new worlds, we launched Update 41, we started a new hobby, we've got a big crafting event, got a bunch of PvMP related news, including a new monster player reward track and what have you. So just a ton of things happening this week in the Lord of the Rings online, and I really appreciate you being here with us here today. So this will be a good opportunity to ask any questions that you have about Update 41. If I can get you answers, I will. If I can't, well, I'll write it down and see about answering it in the near future. But there we go. Question: the reward track on the creep side, do we have to buy it every month? No, it should be a one-time purchase, and then you get it unlocked for you for the PvMP monster player reward track. Alright, let me get to a little bit of news here. I have a bunch of things I can bring up on the screen and talk a little bit about. So let's kind of go starting with Wednesday here. Where did I put it? Here we go. The Update 41 release notes. Update 41 was released on Wednesday of this week. You can find the release notes on Lotra.com. It'll give you a good overview of everything that we are up to right now inside of the game. The hardtack crafting event kicked off yesterday at 10 a.m. Eastern. Birding has arrived. We have a guide to both the hardtack crafting event and birding over on Lotra.com in French, German, and English. Have a bunch of lore master work that we did for Update 41. I'm playing a lore master on Angmar. You're going to get to see that now level 10 character a little bit later on in the show. Our monster play questing and reward track is here. We also have a new glory mechanic in PvMP. And the release notes themselves are pretty long, so I'm not going to go through it all. But I would call out that we're getting pretty close to the Legendary Item Reward Track Season 11. Yeah, we've done 10 of them so far. This will be number 11. It's launching on August 14th, so not this week, not next week, but the week after that. So you do want to make sure you've claimed all your rewards before the 11th season kicks off at the LI Reward Track, which is 10 a.m. Eastern Time on August 14th, although I think we may have to change it to server time. I can talk about that in a little bit. We're on Eastern. Server time is for the most part on Eastern, but Mordor currently is on Pacific time due to some technicalities. And we actually had a discussion yesterday about whether we can change it, whether we should change it. And I don't have any results to announce today. I don't think it's as easy as just saying moving the clock to be Eastern, although maybe it is. I don't know. Depends who you talk to. Anyway, so there's a ton of lore master notes, and you can go take a look at that. I'm not going to get into all of the lore master stuff here in Update 41. We've seen some feedback, both positive and negative, about the lore master changes, and I'm sure on Mac Mahal will be taking a look at that feedback here for upcoming patches. It'll be a couple of weeks before we have our next patch. That is currently tentatively set for August 14th. That would be Update 41.1. We'll fix the bugs that I'll talk about just in a little bit with the known issues, and anything else that crops up. Now, we could do a patch before then, but the current planned patch is Update 41.1 in 2 weeks on August 14th. We do have the 4th profession now unlocked and available in the Lotra store, if you're interested in that. And yeah, there's just a lot. I wanted to call out the known issues, though. These are things that have cropped up since Wednesday, when we launched Update 41. These are a few things that we will most likely get fixed for Update 41.1. in our next game update. So the title Protector of Life, offered for the free people side reward on the Monster Play reward track, isn't actually giving you your title. We're going to be fixing that soon. You'll get your title, is how that'll work. Rewards on the Special Item Barterer and Graham's Foot cannot be purchased by Monster players. This doesn't affect the rewards gained along the reward track. We're going to be fixing that in the near future as well. An adjustment, probably the biggest bug with update 41 is an issue with mitigations. So we adjusted early game mitigations for Angmar and Mortar and its level 50 cap, but it inadvertently touched some progressions at higher tiers for some mitigations. So if you're like, how come my mitigations aren't doing what they used to do? That's probably a bug, and it'll be fixed here in update 41.1. We have one more that came up overnight that I haven't yet put into the known issues list, but the new Mirkwood Patrons Coffer, the milestone skill is not activating correctly in the French game client. I think there was a typo in the activation text. So what's happening is you're putting in the text that it says that it's supposed to be and it's not doing anything. There should be an underscore there. But ultimately, even if you were to do that right now, it wouldn't work because of the bug. So we're going to be fixing that for the French game client here with update 41.1. Alright, let me take a quick look at chat. Hope I had a nice break. It was kind of a break. So I was capped on my PTO. Basically, you earn enough time off, and then you stop earning more time off unless you spend it down. And basically, think of it like an ancient script cap, but for hanging out and playing video games. Anyway, so I had capped out my PTO, and I needed a few days off, so I did that last week, but I ended up still working on Wednesday and Thursday. So I took 3 days off and had 1 day off, but that's how it works sometimes. It was fine. It was mostly just to drive my son back to his mother's for the start of his school year, which began yesterday. So it was a real busy day in the Snook household yesterday with my son going to school and the launch of Angmar and Mortar, which I'm happy to say really went well without any major issues. Both our first European server and our Angmar Legendary World both went off without really any major issues, so that's cool. There was a lot of work that went into launching Mordor in particular, and it seems to have worked out pretty okay. Alright, I think that's... I'm not sure what else I got. Do I know where one of the 9 has spawned? I do not personally know. This is all controlled by the game world itself. So unless there's some kind of... Unless I happen to be there when the announcement goes off, I don't actually know when the wraiths have spawned or when the ring wraiths have spawned. I have heard that we have had a few spawns, but that's the extent of it. I haven't actually seen any video of anyone fighting a ring wraith yet, but I'm looking forward to seeing that happen here, presumably in the coming days. Maybe even today. We'll find out. So how do you know, though, where one of the 9 has spawned? There is an announcement in World Chat, and then ultimately players are going to have to coordinate the location together using presumably something like World Chat to get people to it. So that's how it's done. You got kicked out of Angmar when it spawned. That's unusual. I wouldn't expect that to happen. Unless it spawned really close to you and more than, say, 48 or so people piled into the space, in which case the teleportation mechanism will eventually kick in. And that could cause you to teleport from Angmar, but I don't know what to say about the rest of that. You know, some streamers were gifted the Mirkwood bundle and stuff for the new Angmar server. Are those the official preferred streams to watch? You can watch whatever you want. It's totally fine. But it's true that when we get things like the Mirkwood Patrons Coffer, it's some easy promo, frankly, to kick some of these codes to streamers so that they can show it off on camera, on stream, and ooh and ah about it, and hopefully ooh and ah about it. And it's a mild commercial work there, but it's also a way to say thanks for these folks, because, you know, these streamers who were streaming for hours and hours yesterday, they're not really getting paid. They're not getting paid much, if anything. And so, to support the streamers, we're happy to kick them some codes. Now, that doesn't mean I give every single person who asks me who streams on Twitch a code, and I do get a lot of requests that I say, thanks, I'll keep that in mind. But if you're a larger streamer, if you're in, say, the top 5 or so of the current live broadcast, you got dozens of viewers at least, maybe even hundreds, like we saw with Baggins TV yesterday. Yeah, I'm happy to kick you a code there. So Norbert is reporting that some of the collections panel is showing mounts and pets twice. I saw a thing on the forums where someone had it display 3 times. I have not seen that myself. We can check it out in game in just a little bit. But I'm aware of that bug. I just haven't really seen much about what might be causing it or anything yet. So submit a bug report on that, and we'll take a look. The armor of the Elite Rider that was given out a couple of years ago to VIPs. Yes, we should be able to bring that back at some point in the future, Revan. I don't know what the plan for it is, but typically the way we do these kind of things is once their time is done with whatever program they're in, we add it to a list of things we can bring back. That list is maintained by someone on the itemization side. So that when it's like, do we have any kind of old stuff that we can bring back? The answer is almost always yes. It's always yes. And we can pull from that list in the future. So I would say there's a chance we'll get the armor of the Elite Rider back. Yeah, Epic Games says, poor kid, my son has another month of summer left. It's true. Where my son goes to school, they start like first day of August, and that's early to me. But they get out in mid-May, so. You've never played Locher before. Are the new Legendary Worlds a good place to start? I'm in Europe, so I'll be trying out Mordor. Yeah, absolutely. It's a great place to start if you've not played Locher before. Lots of people will be playing in the area with you at this time. There'll be lots of opportunity to get assistance and get your questions answered and get in on the hype. Yeah, it just kicked off yesterday, so it's a perfect time to be playing on Mordor. It changes, Sam, based on the state, actually. Even more than that, on the city. So, like, we're in Massachusetts here, they typically don't start until later in August, maybe even early September. But where my son lives, with his mother, they actually start in early August and go until mid-May. I don't know why they're so early, but they are. So, but it's not a national thing. It's really per school district that sets their own calendar. They have like state and federal regulations about how many days they can go and everything. But in terms of when they start of the year, it'll depend really where you are. You heard new elf models got shown off a bit at San Diego Comic-Con. When might we get a sneak peek at them? I don't know. I haven't seen the San Diego Comic-Con video myself. I wasn't involved. I wasn't there. So I have yet to actually see more than a couple of still pictures from the San Diego Comic-Con presentation. What's being talked about is last Friday, Severlin, our executive producer, was in a San Diego Comic-Con panel with basically all the other executive producers of Daybreak Games. EverQuest, DCUO, all that sort of thing. And there was some chatter about Lotra, where we announced the name of our next expansion called Legacy of Morgoth, and talked a little bit about how we kept Lotra going all these years. And I have not actually seen anything about us showing off new elf models, but that is in the works. So I would expect to see that later this year publicly on Bullroar. Question, can free-to-play not see sales in the Lotra store? You should be able to see the sales in the Lotra store. Are Shadowy Race supposed to spawn in instances? We have been having a discussion ourselves amongst the team in the past 24 hours about that very question. My understanding is that the answer is yes, ... question mark. And that is, mechanically, they're set to spawn in instances. In general, it should be fine to see the lesser race in instances. But we could make a change there if either we decide that we want to, or if the community playing is like, do something there. But we haven't yet decided whether or not we would want to take action on that yet. So it is technically working as designed at the moment, but we might end up... We're considering whether we should make a change there. Are there ever going to be more shield cosmetics? I would bet so, yes. Lori is asking, there's some people unhappy about the Lore Master changes. This is true. If you go to the forums, you'll see a pretty heated discussion about the Lore Master changes. Can I comment on it? I am not really qualified to comment and speak on behalf of Onmac Mahal and the rest of the systems team who worked on Lore Master. So the best I could really do is refer you to our write-ups that we've done about why we're doing these changes and what the purpose of it is. As with any topic that comes out, gets development work, and is met with both positive and negative feedback, you know, we'll take a look at the negative feedback, see what we need to do, if anything, and, you know, respond to the best of our ability to your concerns. But overall, the Lore Master was a pretty significant overhaul. We were pretty upfront about that for, what, a year or two now that we've been talking about the Lore Master work. So hopefully no one should be too surprised about what we've done with the Lore Master. But there's always room to improve and change as needed. Ooh, yeah, it looks like just this morning at 11:12, an icy chill falls across the land as one of the 9 stalks forth from the shadows. This was a grab from World Chat on Angmar, so very cool. Is the PvP team aware that the creeps need a revamp and a boost? Yes. Orion has talked quite a bit about this already on the forums and elsewhere, that additional balancing work will be happening on PvMP in the future. It does, seeing some feedback that someone just got pwned when a wraith spawned over on Weathertop. Yeah, it's something we'll have to consider. I have not gone into the full conversation, but I saw this morning in our local teams chat here inside of the office that the discussion is ongoing about wraiths and instances. You think a lot of people, especially those craving the Undying title, would love not facing a Wraith alone in the story instances before level 20. Sure. I mean, that's sort of the point, the ring Wraiths there, but what you're saying about story instances makes sense, so we'll see. Now, I would say that Wraiths don't spawn for you until level 10, so you'll at least be able to get that first one like you're used to, but the level 21 would be impacted by the spawning wraiths. The 4th profession is character-based, and that was ultimately an implementation decision that the store team and systems team made for the 4th profession. I'm not quite sure, Tix, what your question is about introducing crafting instances. I think, in general, our crafting system operates on a public node-based system, and it's not to say we couldn't create some kind of farming instance for crafting, but I think more information would be needed about, you know, why would we want to do the work to do something like that? Like, what's the benefit for it being an instance that would be of particular value to you? Is the forum the best place to give feedback on Lore Master? Sure. Yeah, the forum's a great place to talk about the Lore Master. We've seen a lot of discussion already. Feel free to add to it. You can also bail, although it's going to be a little different, obviously, in a story-based instance. But you can, if you're between level 10 and 20 and want that title, you could run away. You could run away from the race. So. And I'm not sure what you mean, instances like Forge and Loft. That reference is not something I'm quite understanding. Sorry. Emathil, that's good feedback to pass along to the people working on crafting. You have a lot of combinations of tools. You want some additional slots to slot single tools instead of combo tools. Okay. We did, in Update 41, one of the benefits of the hardtack crafting rewards is the ability to merge some tools together. So we have made some progress in that regard. All right. That's pretty good, Neek. I heard the dwarves are the best race for Mariner because of their Corsair. That's real good. I appreciate that one. I appreciate that a lot. All right, let's. What else should I mention? So we've been talking about Angmar and Mordor, but to get everyone up to speed here real quick, we do in fact have a website, an article on our website about this. They're all open now, Angmar and Mordor, and you can find out more about how it all works over on Lotra.com. Get information and a FAQ, and we'll be adding to that FAQ to the best of our ability. Two of the outstanding questions that we had prior to launch was, what's the XP going to be and what's the release cadence going to be? On the XP, we're going with normal, so it's your typical 100% XP. You get as much as you get on the regular worlds. And for release cadence, we're not locking ourselves down to a strict timetable like we've done for Mordor, or not Mordor, but Shadowfax and Treebeard. You know, they were aberrations that went fast and slow. This one is... we want some flexibility there. There will be times where we have expansions like Moria, where you're getting your allies and doing some work there that'll probably stick around a little longer. And there are times for like Riders of Rohan where we'll probably want to shuttle you along to the next fairly quickly. So the exact cadence is not yet determined, but our intention is to be flexible with it based on the needs of the servers and just sort of where people are at on the timeline and how things go. I don't think we'd want to do it with a poll. You know, we can see what level people are at and how long they've been there. I'd say it's going to be relatively standard pacing, except for sometimes we might go a little faster or slower. But what does standard mean? I don't know. Probably something roughly like at least a couple times a year, somewhere between quarterly and a couple times a year. Can you comment on the process of applying for engineering roles at Daybreak? Are there ever roles that have you work solely on a single project like Lotro, or are all roles pretty much shared internally? Also, is there a willingness to consider non-US engineers? I don't know the answer to the latter question. I am of the general belief that you would probably need to be based in the United States in order to do the work, but that is something that HR would be able to tell you more about when you applied. My understanding, and I don't have a lot of direct conversations with the engineering team over at Daybreak, but my understanding is they largely work on all the titles, so it would not be a single project, but it might be a single area of expertise, or a couple areas of expertise that you would work on. So I believe it's mostly shared across the engineering team. based on skill set and work that needs to be done. And I believe that you need to be US based, but maybe I'm wrong there. Will we do a hardcore server like the illegal server did, created by fan developers? Yeah, okay. No, we're not going to support an illegal server. And a hardcore server, if you kind of think about that, that's in some ways what Mordor and Angmar are, right? With the Wraiths and the Ring Wraith spawns. It's a more hardcore situation. I guess in your mind, Doomy, what is a hardcore server for Locho? On the DD Dungeons and Dragons Online side, it's once you die, that character is gone. You can transfer them to a non-hardcore server, but they're yeeted. Is that what you're talking about? Yeah. We could. It's come up, you know, as a discussion occasionally about doing a kind of a one-and-done server for Locho. I don't know how popular it would be, to be honest. But maybe. We do have the Mirkwood Patrons Coffer. This is now available through August 11th in the Locho store. You can find out more about it over on Locho.com. Gets you a bunch of mithril and a bunch of titles and a movement emote and a milestone emote. We got some picks up. You can find that on Locho.com. And I'll also be showing that off in-game here just a little bit. I also wanted to call out, this is being done in part due to the launch of Mordor and Angmar, but it goes to all the game worlds, and that is a Middle-earth venturing pack. To the person who is considering starting, perhaps playing on Mordor, this might be something for you. You do have to buy it. You can buy it once per account, so once you buy it on an account, you can't buy it again. And it's only available through August 25th. But this is kind of a let's get you going pack for anyone who's interested. But it's really kind of meant to be a let's get you going pack. So it gets you the riding skill, a kind of a nicer steed, a cosmetic outfit, a weapon aura, 21,000 virtue XP, a milestone skill to get your way back. You'll have a 10th milestone skill X, a medium pile of copper scraps worth 500 silver, and a universal toolkit for any crafting profession. And that's just a way to kind of get yourself going on Mordor or Angmar a little more easily, maybe a new character a little more easily, and that's available through August 25th in the Locho store. Also real quick then for sales, start a new journey. So we do have character slots. That's maybe of value to you, 20% off through August 8th. And we have an enhanced reputation supply as our weekly coupon. Coupon code is You Know Me, and that's through August 8th. Also real quick, we have Hobnanigans going on this weekend. That's our Locho bonus days bonus, so that goes through Sunday with Hobnanigans. And other than that, we got birding and hard tacking and Mordor and Angmaring. So let me switch in game and let's get that done. All right. I ended up talking a lot. It's already 12:30. So I have got my character here. This is Rivermaster, using my basic nomenclature pattern of race class. I can't believe it works, but it did. Nobody took Rivermaster. And I've got the Mirkwood Patron's Coffer cosmetic outfit on right now. And oh, I must have died actually at some point while I was waiting for the show to start, because I'm at here rather than where I should be, which is a real bummer. I guess speaking of my titles, I got my level 10 title last night, but I showed up to my milestone rather than standing over by Kara Skelebrun, so I guess I must have been attacked while my sound was off. Good thing I don't care about undying titles. This is the steed as well. That is a bummer, though, to be clear. I'm kind of mildly upset about that. That's true. Thank you so much, Yao, for bringing that up. And I have another one as well. So, we have got a housing Q&A on the Deco Doomliu Discord. This is going to be taking place August 9th, right? Yeah, August 9th. So, go ahead and check that out. And also, next Wednesday, we have our next casual stroll. My understanding is that Scenario is going to be hanging out in Mordor. There we go. Yeah, so this is where I was. Something must have come up and attacked me while I was chatting in this last half hour here, unfortunately. Got rid of my Undying title. So I have not really played a Lore Master much. So I thought with update 41 here, let's do it. So I'm trying to learn how to, you know, cash out Burning Embers and maximize my lightning strikes. And, you know, Redline, I'm going into Redline here for my Lore Master, so pets are somewhat minimized, although there is the ability to, you know, summon a bear temporarily, and then flank them, and then follow up with Wizard's Fire or Frost, that kind of thing. After playing my champion so long, it's a little weird to be this far away and still being attacking things, but I will take it. Trying to figure out how to maximize staff strike and things like that as well. I have a lot to learn, personally, when it comes to playing a Lore Master, because like I said, I just really haven't done it a lot. And I am only level 10 here. Alright. What difficulty? At the moment, I just have it set to 1. Because this is going to be a stream character, and I don't want to get raffle stomped on camera. So at the moment, I just have it set to landscape difficulty 1. I can have him flank. Uh-oh. I guess I don't have a get back up yet. Ah. Okay. Let me try that again. There we go. Okay. I could, I'll look up what I know about U42, but at this point, we just got update 41 out the door, and we're going to be working on the follow-up patch here in the near future. So I think it's a bit early, frankly, to be getting into too many details about when on U42, but it'll be next. Legacy of Morgoth, it'll be our expansion, so it's going to be a pretty big deal. But I don't know exactly what the time frame is at this point. Are there more rewards planned for birding? Between level 100 and 200, you get nothing, and you're missing a meta deed for finding everything. Well, so we're definitely going to be adding more birds to the birding panel, and we have some other plans as well related to birding. We've been hearing some of the feedback that you would like to see some more visual indicators during birding and what have you. So as Ryan had stated relatively recently on the forums, that this is kind of this is our first implementation, and I would expect to see us do more here in the future. Alright, I'm supposed to be looking at something. What am I supposed to be looking at? I gotta find things. Oh, hey, speaking of wraiths, there's a wraith. Oh my gosh, it's gonna kill me, isn't it? Yep. Ravel stomped. I will retreat. No, I have not heard much about what our plans are for the so-called kinship update that we talked about as a goal for our most recent producer's letter. I know that it's going to be a little while on it. So, we'll see. We'll see when we get closer to it. I don't know. It's something we want to do. It's something we've wanted to do for quite some time here. And we'll see, I guess, where we end up when its time is ready, which isn't yet. I have not heard of wedding bands being brought to the game. It would be a neat feature, maybe. But it's not something I have personally heard about. Any news on the VIP update meant for Q3 and the projected timeline? Didn't happen. We have not had time to really work on it. So, nothing to announce at this time. We cannot get into numbers about the size of the team. That's not something I'm allowed to really discuss publicly. So, sorry. Can't answer that one. And Red, you have no pets. It's not true. But if they're definitely not the, hey, let's hang out with our pets trait tree. So if you're really into hanging out with your pets, you should go with Blue Line. And Red Line, you summon them temporarily. And, like, so for example, if I bring out my bear and then have it flanked, I could follow up with Wizard's Frost, which will give me a morale heal. I could have used that at one point. And the other one will give me power. So there's some benefits, there's some interactions between your skills and stuff. Go. Oh, there's that Wraith. Oh no, I'm gonna get pwned again. I'm gonna run it. Oh no! Gosh, this Wraith is taking me out, is it not? Maybe I'm not ready. Yeah, you get summoned for, it's a brief period, but you do bring them out. They do show up, you know, so it's not that there aren't any pets. It's just that's, you know, the design goal of the Red Line trait tree was to have a more minimal pet role for your lore master as the main DPS line. Well, I want to fight one of these wraiths when I'm actually at full morale. I mean, part of the problem I've run into is they've been coming up afterwards after I've been engaged in battle. And, my morale is not ready, so... Yeah, so blue is absolutely, you know, the pet one. And yellow too, but blue in particular, you're often sort of basically piling on the CC and debuffs and things onto your pet and then applying it by sending the pet out, so... You know, actually, that's a good point. I do have, in fact... Oh no, there's that Wraith again. Okay. That Wraith is just poning me, isn't it? Huh. Alright, well that's a problem. That's a problem. I am getting destroyed by this poor Wraith. What am I gonna do? I'm gonna have to figure that one out, aren't I? Maybe I need to check my gear first. Well, alright, let me try one more time. Glutton for punishment I am. Well, I mean, so basically the answer is to run away from the race or be properly geared, not be a noob like me. But you're right, and we, like I was saying, we have been having discussions about, you know, what do we want to do there? Potentially remove them from instances or what have you. So. Alright. There we go. And yeah, I need to get some food as well. That would also probably help. Oh, there we go. Wow. That person just got it done, didn't they? Alright, so do that. That's what you do. I have not heard of plans to extend the deadline to purchase the Mirkwood Patrons Coffer. They do have the opportunity to come back in the future. We've certainly done that this year. So it's possible that the Mirkwood Patrons Coffer could come back along with other things. But in general, it is meant to be, if you want it, you should buy it. So I've not heard of plans to extend it beyond August 11th. Sorry. Alright, so there's... Oh, there we go. Ah, there's a wraith. Okay. Run away! Or take it out. Or not. Run away, I think, is the answer. Run away is the answer. Jeepers, crikey. Alright, well, these wraiths are just poning me, are they not? I'm gonna have to think about this off camera. How do I want to handle this? What am I gonna do? I guess I can probably, look at my gear. Maybe level up a little bit before I head back to this region. Those wraiths are killing me. I do have a little bit of, gear I have not yet put on. Oh, I can do that too. Well, yeah, that wouldn't hurt. Okay. So there we are right now for this. So I've got an idea. How about I pop on that birding kit, and let's do a little bit of birding here to wrap things up. We've got about 10 minutes left. We're in Swanfleet. Swanfleet's one of the areas where we can do some birding. And you can see I did just a little bit of birding yesterday. Where are they? Yeah. Teal and wood pigeon. That's about all I got so far. Oh no, the chaffinch. So let's wrap up the share and do a little birding here. So you basically just have it from the birding hobby dragged to a hotbar. When you get the little feathers popping up, you hit the button, and then you find some birds. I did get pwned. I got pwned by those wraiths like 4 times in a row there. I don't know quite what I'm gonna do about that. I am the not prepared. Is there an intro to birding like for fishing? We have a guide on Locher.com, and when you speak to the hobby master, it does give you pretty much all the info you need. But there's not much to it once you get the hang of it. And I can just show you real quick. So you'll speak to the hobby master, you'll pick up birding, you'll go to your hobby skill, you'll drag this to a hotbar, and then you'll go into one of the regions where birding is available. And it's listed on the guide, it's listed with the hobby master when you pick up the birding hobby, but you can also find it in the collections panel. You'll see where the birds, common, uncommon, and rare, can show up. So for example, at this point I need to find everything, so it doesn't really matter so much where I am. But let's say we want to go for the Arantara's Turn, found in the Lonelands, so you're going to want to be in the Lonelands to bird for that one. This one, the Arnorian Falcon, is found in Evendom. The Ashen Vulture is in Angmar, etc. So, once you start getting the collections panel filled out, and you start seeing the gaps there, you can hunt out specific birds. For this first implementation inside of the hobby action itself, you do not see the birds themselves. You'll see them in the collections panel when they show up and what have you. But it's something that we're looking to do for a phase 2. Is have more of a visual indicator of birding when it's ready to go there. Alright, who's trying to stop my birding? And let me just real quick, I'm gonna pop on over to Thorin's Gate here as well. Except I can't. Probably because again I'm in combat. There we go. Oop, in combat again. What has got me in combat? Is it this crabbing? Let's take care of it. Oh, and make sure you bring back your staff. Oops. Let me get out of the way then. I'll have to file that one as a bug. You take care of that. Run away! There we go. Now I could swap over. Mordor has great ping, 13 milliseconds versus 90 for EverQuest, X4711 says. Great. Yeah, that's the hope with Mordor, is that being European located, it's going to improve the ping, and that does seem to be the experience. Overall, the game experience seems to be quite good. for both Angmar and Mortar here on our 64-bit game client as well. Reminder that game client is something that we intend to bring to the regular servers as well. So that's good news, that this first deployment of the 64-bit server tech is going really well. As far as I'm aware, we are not going to be at Gamescom this year. I would love to be at Gamescom, but sadly 'tis not to be. Not this year, anyway. Alright, so here's the main Thorin's Gates, and here's where the hardtack event is. And I actually did sit down a few weeks back with Orion to go over the event. Also point out, last week's show was they have a Cave Troll podcast that Scenario and Orion did, so if you haven't had the opportunity to do that, I can quick slot the staff. Yeah, I'm going to have to if I swap over to birding pretty quickly. I did pick up both my Cook and Prospector hobby as well. So now I got the 3 recipes that I would need. So I'm pretty much ready to go for whenever the event next kicks off, which isn't yet. Probably have to swap in my Cook supplies. Oh, sorry, Evernight, not EverQuest. Yeah, yep. At this time, we have no plans to move the other game worlds to Europe. Severlin did speak to that when he announced the Legendary Worlds, that we only had the financial opportunity at this time to do the one server, and that being a new server. And part of that is also that there's additional work, more than just geolocation, that needs to be done related to really the data footprint of all the characters on the live worlds. So work done there should improve game performance for those live worlds. But at this time, we're not in a position to be able to bring all the European worlds to Europe. Mortar plays well even from the US, so it should be pretty similar to the way the Europeans were experiencing the US servers, except for the whole 64-bit fresh nature of Mordor. So it might well be better than the non-Mordor experience, but the ping should be pretty similar to what the Europeans were experiencing with the US game worlds. When you transfer stuff to the 64-bit servers, will there be an opportunity to unify the formats to enable transfers between EU and US servers? No. Sorry, Phil. That is actually a historic issue that cannot be resolved. Ultimately, back in the day, there was supposed to be parity between our item IDs and item IDs that were managed by the company that at that time was handling the European game client. And at some point there became a derivation between item IDs that causes data errors and conflicts. So we were unable to resolve that, except for the method that we have where you can pick an EU and US world and then you're stuck on it. We don't have that issue when you're transferring from these legendary worlds, but those old historic worlds, it's why we had to pick certain servers for the old European, the people who were running Europe servers at that time. We had to pick servers so that we could resolve this item ID conflict. Some choices were made back in the day that were unfortunate by the people who were running the game at that time, and it's caused a permanent problem. That means we'll never be able to resolve the US to EU restriction for those historic worlds. Also, holy moly, did we just get a whole bunch of viewers or what? Hello everyone, how you doing? We're actually wrapping up the show here in a few minutes, but we also have another show coming on. That would be, I believe, is Tolkien Professor here today? I'm not actually sure if they are or not. I think they might be at Gen Con? Or was that San Diego Comic-Con last week? I can't remember. But either way, welcome everyone. Gosh, it's so nice to see you here. Baggins TV, you were really rocking it yesterday on the opening of Mordor. I saw something like 800 people in your chat at one point, and that is monstrous. That was big. You had a big old stream yesterday, and that was sweet. So I'm actually looking forward to running the hardtack event here. Unfortunately, the timing is not going to work to run it on stream here at this time. So yeah, I do believe that we will have the Tolkien Professor on in just a few minutes here. This is going to be a deep dive into cool Tolkien lore. It's fun stuff. Heroic +2 may be a bit too ambitious, so I only picked Heroic +1 in part because I saw your +2, and I was like, oh no, I don't want to get pwned over and over by a Wraith on the live stream. Gosh, that would be bad. That totally just happened here. So I may have to reconsider my landscape difficulty a little bit, but that's where we are. Alright, well that is going to wrap it up though for the show for this week. Thanks so much everyone for being here. Like I said, we have got Tolkien Professor up in just a few minutes, and then we have got Druid's Fire on after that. You can find the full schedule over on twitch.tv/LotraStream. Hope you're having a good one. Enjoy the hardtack event, Hobnanigans, Birding, PvMP work, and Mordor and Angmar, and our Mirkwood Coffer, and all these other special seals. It's a big weekend in the Lord of the Rings Online. Hope you're enjoying it, and we'll talk to you all again soon. Bye-bye.